For the past 2 years, Jocko Fuel has been the only supplement I've consumed. It's helped me stay in shape now that my competitive career is finished. If you've been waiting to try Jocko, the wait is over. Jocko has now teamed with Walmart, bringing clean fuel to the entire nation. Jocko Fuel is loaded with all the good stuff and none of the bad. And I'm talking no added sugars, no artificial sweeteners, and absolutely no gray area or banned substances. Just pure, clean fuel to power your performances. Jocko Fuel is now available in Walmart nationwide. Products available at your local Walmart are Jocko Malt, ready to drink, Jocko Malt powder, and Jocko pre-workout. How convenient. Guys, the time is now. Consider trying some of my favorites like Jocko Go and Jocko Hydrate. You can even do it online. Use code CHAEL30 at JockoFuel.com or just stop by your local Walmart and get your hands on some Jocko ASAP. Don't wait, might not last. Fuel up with Jocko Fuel and crush your goals. Now there's no excuse for not having clean fuel. Guys, I want you to go get Jocko Fuel today at Walmart. Pereira, what do you want to do? Looks like you got 3 options. He can defend his title against the winner of Ankalaev and Raychik. Okay. He can go up. He can fight for an interim heavyweight championship against Tom Aspinall. He can go down. He can challenge Dricus du Plessis. Those are your options, but you've got to say it in advance. You got to say it in advance. You don't get for Dricus to fight Strickland and then go, wow, but Pereira and Strickland are really good friends, and if he was to go down and avenge that loss, that would make it interesting. So, no. Don't get to have that. And you're going to say, well, I really just want to see Tom and John, or Tom and Stipe. No, me right now. Move Pereira up right now. Or the way we're playing this game, and the entire reason you have to say right now, is because when you say you want to see him fight Ankalaev, what you're actually saying is you want to see Alex Pereira fight the winner of Ankalaev and Raychik. That's what you're actually saying. Which means if you pass on Pereira, taking on du Plessis at 85, or moving up against Aspinall at heavyweight, if you pass on that, you could be passing on those fights for Raychik versus Pereira, which, by the way, is an awesome fight. But it's why it's important that you speak up now. I believe Pereira stay 205 pounds. I don't believe that Ankalaev has quite a stranglehold on that division odds-wise as he did prior to Pereira fighting Roundtree. DraftKings, my own partners, came out with lines for essentially everybody. Lionheart was on that list. Dricus du Plessis was on that list to take on Pereira. And the only one that was favored to beat him was Ankalaev, and it was 2-1. Within the 2-1 belief that Ankalaev would beat him is because of the history. Maybe Merab versus O'Malley would be a most recent example, but within a history of showing us how effective and important a dominant wrestler can be. But Ankalaev is not a wrestler. He's very good at it. He is not a wrestler. I know you keep saying that. And I know you believe that to be true and you want it to be true, but we have to take the word of the guy himself. And Ankalaev identifies as a kickboxer. That is the truth. And what Ankalaev had, was it one takedown on Blachowicz in the entire fight, just for example? Or even the matchups that you saw Ankalaev versus Johnny Walker? I'm just reminding you, he does his work on his feet. Ankalaev versus Paul Craig went to the ground, didn't go Ankalaev's way. Ankalaev versus Anthony Smith was all stand-up. And it doesn't mean somebody can't go out and deal with Pereira. I'm just reminding you, when you keep talking about Ankalaev, which is a very likely direction that you're going, but you are talking about somebody that's going to try to beat Pereira at kickboxing. Maybe that makes it more interesting for you. I'm just trying to set the story at a minimum straight. And once I can get you to understand Ankalaev a little bit better, who, by the way, might as well, what is he, 18-1, but he might as well be 18-0. He has the skills of a guy that's completely undefeated. And maybe I've got the 18 part wrong and it's more like 16 or 19, but you get my point. Now, while I'm trying to get you to understand Ankalaev just a little bit better, it's because he is not a foregone conclusion to deal with Raychik. And one thing I don't know about Ankalaev versus Raychik, in fact, here, I'll tell you this. I would predict Raychik to beat Ankalaev. Now, when I say that, I'm talking about Raychik prior to his injury, and I'm talking about in a 3-round fight. I would have to look. If Ankalaev Raychik is scheduled for 5 rounds, I would have a very different analysis. But Raychik, I mean, that's what cost him in the Yuri Prochazka fight. He's been out for too long, and it was a little bit too long of a match. It's what I share for you. So that's my analysis, and those are my thoughts. But when you look at Alex Pereira, I can't remember anybody quite like this. I mean, you have a guy that's in a conversation for GOAT. You have a guy who, if he bumped up to heavyweight, it wouldn't matter if he won the IC belt or the undisputed belt. If he has a belt up there, it ends the conversation. We no longer even have an ability to discuss greatest of all time. We would lose that ability to argue. The only reason there is an argument is because there's no tournament or no title for it. It is just people's opinions, and everybody starts comparing resumes first. So if he went champ, which has never been done, we wouldn't talk about who's the GOAT anymore. We would just say Alex Pereira. And to have somebody that is in that kind of a conversation who has been this undynamic is not something that we ever thought we would see. Dynamic? For goodness sakes, I don't think we've ever even seen him defend a submission. Now, that isn't his fault. He hasn't been in a position where an opponent can throw up a very legitimate submission, but either way, my point is accurate. We've never seen him get a takedown, and you could argue that. Like, there was a couple of moments with Adesanya where he did grab him and pull him down to the ground. I think you get my point, though. When he's not out there doing submissions. And to believe that he could be in the conversation for GOAT. It's very interesting. Even when you look at his kickboxing, it's very straight on. Demetrius Johnson, Anthony Pettis, some of these great strikers that we've seen through history. Anderson Silva, Jon Jones. They're so dynamic. You don't know if they're going to run up a fence and kick you, or they're going to be on their back and kick you in the face and knock you out from there. Like, you don't know what they're going to do. They're crazy. They're just as likely to hit a spinning elbow or spinning kick right to your midsection as they are to throw a jab to your nose. Pierre is none of those things. He is going to stand straight in front of you. He is going to let you come and bring whatever you want to bring at him. Throw whatever combination you want to use, your hands, you want to use your feet, however you want to do it, and then he's going to return fire. It is very, very straightforward. And we're talking about he could be the GOAT. Lacking being dynamic. It really is a very wild thing. Like, if you were to put Pereira versus Jon Jones, and I'm talking about them not fighting, I'm talking about arguing, right? Because that's what GOAT is. It's just an argument. But if you were to do that, you would have to give the benefit to Jon Jones. You would also need to show benefit of the doubt as well as grace to Jon Jones. And that's true for longevity and for things that he's shown, for his ability to do such great work on the ground as on his feet, as to grind it out and come from behind and get a decision. Those are all very true things. But I think it would also be true if I was to say to you, do you believe that Jon Jones could defeat Khalil Roundtree inside of 20 minutes? You might say, yeah, I do think that. I said, okay. Do you think that Jon Jones could knock out Jamal Hill inside of 5 minutes? And you're probably going to say no. And I don't know that I have to say knockout. Could he get him out of there? Any way he wants to do it, you're probably going to say no. And if I said, well, do you think that Jon Jones could finish Yuri Prochazka twice? Win knockouts? You're very likely to say no. So there are certain things that Pereira is doing, I mean, that are just flat amazing. It is very hard to compare somebody that has never done ground and pound, that has never fired a takedown, that has never taken on these top-ranked wrestlers and shown an ability to get up and show submissions and defend submissions, and to put them in conversation for greatest ever. But Pereira is most definitely that. He is most definitely in the conversation. And by the way, all he wants to do is the hardest fights. I mean, he's calling out from Drekas to Aspinall to his most likely opponent is going to end up being Ankalaev, or at least the winner of Ankalaev and Raychik. Like, these are very difficult things to do. And the greats and the top guys, particularly the ones that are making piles of money like he is, you can't even get them to the ring. It doesn't matter if you're talking about boxing. You couldn't get Floyd to the ring more than twice a year. Never. This is literal. Go back. Pull up his resume. Since he was selling out arenas and making real money, show me 1 year where you ever got him in there more than twice. You can't get the guys to make the walk. You can't get Conor to make the walk. Jon will go in and sit out for 3 years, come back for 1, sit another year and a half after that. You can't get guys with money to want to go to work. That's all this guy wants to do. And he wants to do it against the absolute hardest guys that put him in the most danger, most jeopardy. It's very interesting. We've really never seen anything quite like it.